let's look at India's graph in terms of the number of cases and how we're faring against COVID-19. Steady decline in cases, the active number of cases. This is what it looks like this evening on the 19th of May now, officially. Now, there's been a steady decline, and for the fourth consecutive day, we are at below 3 lakh cases. Death rate also coming down below the 4,000 mark. We were at the 4,000 mark for a few days straight, and today it's come down to 3,874 deaths in the last 24 hours. Let's look at the other parameters in the fight against COVID-19. Positivity rate in India has come down further. Was 3 days ago, it's come down to 15% now. Was at 20%, has come down to 15%. There's been a rapid and consistent increase in the number of tests that are conducted. We conducted over 20 lakh tests as a country, which is the highest. So the number of tests is increasing. As far as the positivity rate goes, now these are the stats. Decrease in the positivity rate in India. It's now down to 15.2%, like we just saw in the previous slide. Now, there is a consistent increase in testing. Now, this is what the testing numbers look like. Roughly about 1.3 crore tests conducted so far. Now, as far as the government advisory is concerned, there was a guideline that was issued by the Principal Scientific Advisor to the government, Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India. Now, these are some of the protocols. They said aerosol transmission can be carried in the air up to 10 meters. This is as of today. This was issued. 3 aerosols, droplets, surface, key routes of transmissions. Let's look at each one of them and keep going and telling our viewers what the new guidelines say. That as far as droplet transmission is concerned, fall within 2 meters of an infected person. We have to be careful. And let's go to the third mode of transmission, that is surfaces, saying that virus-laden droplets can survive glass, plastic and stainless steel. This is as per the guidelines by the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India. Now, let's go to the next set of guidelines that were issued on why masking is necessary. Very high risk when you don't wear a mask. That was, the information that was put out. High risk if one person is wearing a mask and the second person isn't. Low risk when both of them are wearing a mask, reinforcing basically the need to wear a mask. Now, the masking rules, as per the scientific guidelines issued today, double layer cotton homemade mask can be used as per the new protocols and the new guidelines. N95 mask offers maximum protection as per the new guidelines issued today. Double masking, surgical mask and tight-fitting cloth mask. The formula for double masking as per the guidelines. Double masking, 2 cotton masks can also be worn across India. Now, that's the new guideline by the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India. Let's look at the other guidelines that were issued as far as ventilation is concerned. This was something that was given out by the government today. Let's look at what each one of them says. Poor ventilation. Poor ventilation if windows and doors are shut. The need for ventilation being reinforced by the new guidelines. Let's show you the good scenario, the other scenarios. Asking for people to leave their windows and doors open for good ventilation to ensure that you deal with the situation of COVID patients inside the house. Ideal ventilation is to leave windows and doors open as per the new guidelines issued by the Government of India. Let's look at the other guidelines and also add an exhaust system as per the new scientific guidelines that were issued. Now, looking at the other top measures and guidelines issued by the scientific advisor, there was this map, small, let's go to it one by one. A small scenario that was given. Poor ventilation is when ACs with closed doors and windows are within a space. Poor ventilation, let's look at the scenarios once again. Poor ventilation, good ventilation. Now, as far as good ventilation is concerned, this was a scenario. ACs with open doors and windows as guidelines by Principal Scientific Advisor. Let's look at the other scenarios that they gave for good ventilation. This was the ideal ventilation scenario. ACs with open doors and windows, and add an exhaust fan even within a working environment, leaving doors open. Now, this was important in the situation of working spaces and battling COVID. Now, This was another scenario that was put out by the government's principal scientific advisor, an example of a poor ventilation where only AC systems are on and the air is circulating and doors are not open and there is no open door or window. But look at the ideal ventilation scenario. Okay, let's look at that once again. Poor ventilation is when the doors, windows are not open and there is absolutely only AC circulated. Now, this is a closed doors and window scenario. Now, they spoke about the ideal scenario. Let's go to that once again. The good ventilation scenario, open doors and windows, roof ventilators and regular filters, HEPA or regular filters. Definition of good ventilation as per the principal scientific advisor. Let's look at the other scenarios that they put out today. As per the new scientific advisor, the new scientific guidelines that were issued, to stop the transmission, wearing double masks, keeping areas well ventilated, maintaining physical distancing, washing hands with soap often, isolating COVID positive patients and disinfecting surfaces regularly. Now, all of this was part of the guidelines that was issued today, and most important, to just follow the basics in the fight against COVID-19.